Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on this 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, because right now Bitcoin is confirming this new bullish signal in the short term, which is this bullish divergence. So this is when we have lower lows in the Bitcoin price and higher lows in the RSI momentum indicator. And usually what you'll see with a bullish divergence is that you will get a break from all of the bearish price action. So you will either see some choppy sideways price action over the next couple of days, or you will see some bullish momentum in the short term. And this bullish divergence will likely play out over the next couple of days, so long as it does not get invalidated. Now, it would actually be invalidated if we trade below, for example, this trend line in the price, or if we get this below the RSI momentum indicator, so trading below this trend line here. So that is something to look out for over the next couple days. Now, let's take a look at the support and resistance levels for Bitcoin here. First of all, we have the 0.5 level acting as a level of short-term resistance, sitting at 59.5K. And in terms of support to the downside, we have this short-term level of support right here, sitting at 57,000 US dollars. So to summarize, I am expecting choppy sideways momentum or bullish momentum in the short term, unless this bullish divergence gets invalidated, in which case it opens the door once again to more bearish momentum, especially if we would lose this 0.382 Fibonacci level sitting at 57,000 US dollars, because then it is very likely that we would see more bearish momentum after that as well. Moving on to the bigger support and resistance levels for Bitcoin. Yesterday, of course, I showed you guys this big level of resistance sitting from 60,000 all the way up to 62.4K. And today we got a bit of a move back up to this. However, we got another rejection from this 60K level, after which we immediately dumped back down to this big level of support below that, sitting from 58,000 all the way down to 56,000. So again, for now, we are basically just ranging in between this big level of resistance and this big level of support. And yeah, nothing too much is really going on until we actually break out above that Fibonacci golden pocket that I have been talking about quite a lot recently due to all the price action just below it. Now, as far as a trend line is concerned, you could look at something like this for a potential reversal in the price here, because so long as we are trading below this descending line of resistance, we are obviously in a downtrend, so we should basically expect to keep making lower lows and lower highs. However, if we now break through this descending line of resistance, and we also have that bullish divergence backing it, then that could indicate that likely we are making more bullish price action after that as well. So this setup here is something you could be looking at if you are planning on trading Bitcoin over the next couple days. But that is, of course, not financial advice. I'm simply telling you what I see in the charts, and you can do with that information what you like. Now moving on to the 1 week time frame for Bitcoin. So we're zooming out to a bit higher time frame here. And I again wanted to take a look at the RSI momentum indicator. One of the Road to 1 Million community members pointed this out to me, but he mentioned this descending trend line on the 1 week time frame for the RSI of Bitcoin, where basically right now we are just seeing decreasing bullish momentum in the market. And if we would see a breakout of this downtrend on the RSI, then likely we will see much more bullish price action after that. But of course, so long as this does not break out, we will just continue to make lower lows and lower highs on this RSI momentum indicator, again on the 1 week time frame. So to kind of recap here, the short term is looking a little bit more bullish, or at least indicating that we are likely to see a break from all of the bearish price action. However, zooming out to the higher time frames, that is not looking as good. Also taking into consideration that Bitcoin has some seasonality, where typically September is quite a bad month for Bitcoin. If you want to see all the monthly returns for Bitcoin, I recommend going to my Twitter or my X profile, and there I actually posted a screenshot of all the Bitcoin monthly returns, and you will see that September is historically quite a bad month for Bitcoin in terms of returns. So taking that into consideration as well, we might see a red September. It's not me making some kind of prediction, but I'm just telling you, from the technical analysis perspective here, this is not looking very bullish to me unless we see a breakout here, in which case I will definitely let you know. So if you want to stay up to date with the crypto markets, then make sure to subscribe to my channel with notifications on so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. Either way, moving on to the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. As you can see right here on this 3-day time frame, we just took out quite a lot of liquidity to the downside. We're talking about over $200 million worth of long positions that just got liquidated here. And yes, there is still quite a bit of liquidity to the downside left here, sitting as low as about 56.5K for the Bitcoin price. So again, if we potentially invalidate that bullish divergence, then we might actually come down to grab all of this liquidity here as well. Although we must also note that there's quite a bit of liquidity to the upside. And especially if you zoom out to the 1 week time frame, you will see this quite clearly. Yes, we have some liquidity to the downside here. However, most of the liquidity at this point is to the upside. So we have liquidity at about 62.5K. And then even more liquidity at 65.2K as well. So potentially, if we start to see this bullish divergence actually play out, well, in that case, we might come up to grab all of this liquidity here. Although I must give you one fair warning as well, because as you can see, this big level of liquidity is sitting between 62.6K and about 63,000 US dollars. And in order to actually grab this liquidity, if I go back to these Fibonacci levels here, we would need to break through this Fibonacci golden pocket to actually come and grab all of this liquidity at about 63K. So we would need at the very least to wick up to this level here in order to grab all of this liquidity. And of course, if you have been following my videos recently, you know that the Fibonacci golden pocket is a strong level of resistance. So we would really need to pay attention if we come back inside this range here between 60,000 and 62.7K. Lastly, taking a look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables. Yesterday, we saw another outflow. So that's 3 days in a row. Yesterday was a net outflow of $71 million. So we are seeing a decrease in the amount of selling pressure from these Bitcoin ETFs. And of course, if this continues to decrease, then at some point, it will flip back to being net buying pressure from these Bitcoin ETFs, which could send the Bitcoin price higher once again. Although for now, technically, we are just in a downtrend, so that is important to keep an eye on. So for now, there isn't too much else to say about this. We are just seeing some net outflows from the Bitcoin ETFs. And if we see another decrease of this in tomorrow's video, then potentially we could start looking towards getting some bullish inflows again next week when the Bitcoin ETFs start trading again. Either way, this has been today's market update. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.